Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, so this video is going to be about Planet X and the theory and the origins on where it came from. Um, I'll put out a little bit of tips of what I know. I'm not a genius on the subject, but I have looked into it a little bit, and I'll let you guys know where I stand on the whole theory. Alright, so anyways, Planet X, you know, it came from a scholar. I'm sorry, not a scholar, but a archaeologist. His name's Zachariah Stitchin. All right, he's the guy that I mainly know. He had a lot of information on it. He dedicated his whole life to finding the origins of humans, on where we came from. He doesn't take a biblical standpoint on it. He doesn't take the evolution standpoint on it. He kind of come across, which he believes, the very first civilization on Earth. They're called the Sumerians. Okay, he's come across some clay tablets called the Samaritan tablets, and he spent his whole life studying them, or at least a good part of his life studying into them. And his research and his facts, he compelled the idea of a planetary system that is on an elliptical orbit around our system that takes every 6,500 years to complete. Alright, and within this system, which is called the Nibiru system, it's believed that it has a dwarf red planet. I'm not 100% sure on how many planets. I think 6 or 7 planets within this. The one that they're calling Planet X is a planet within this system that's 40 times bigger than Earth, with a magnetic sphere way, way larger than us. And some of the theories are, they're talking about Planet X being the destruction of the world. When it gets close enough to, when it gets close to Earth, it's going to cause a pole flip. North Pole's going to be, everything's just going to shift. It's just going to be chaos. And they're also speculating that being the end of mankind, because this thing has such a debris field that regardless, whoever survives the pole shift would ultimately, not survive the debris that comes behind it, asteroids and rocks and, stuff like that. So anyways, we'll go back into, we'll go in depth a little bit on the theory and whatnot, and I'll let you guys know, about Planet X. And there's another theory that's tied in with it, with a alien race called the Anunnaki. Now, they are saying, Zachariah Stitchins, he has many material, books, pictures, and data on this. And, within the last couple of years, Planet X theory has gotten very popular. There's so much information on it, and it's to the point to where you don't know who to believe and what to believe. So with a little bit of my insight today, maybe I can take some of you guys that believe in it and turn around and make you not believe in it, or maybe I'll give you some information and make some of you guys believe it. Again, I'm just bringing facts and talking about stuff, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you truly believe in it or not. Okay, and again, we're only here for opinions. Alright, so anyways, let's get back to the Samaritans. Supposedly, it's believed that the Samaritans are the very first humans on, or very first civilization that was on Earth. Alright, supposedly, now if you guys want to get into, the Planet X, every time it shows up, with the alien Anunnaki, the theory is that the Anunnaki came to Earth because their atmosphere on their home planet is severely damaged, and they need precious metals, gold, mainly gold, to repair their atmosphere. So they come down to Earth to mine this gold. Okay, now they're saying that back then humans didn't quite look like humans. This kind of goes fighting against the whole idea of evolution. Okay, you got the one side saying that we evolved from, I believe it was, Neanderthals, and it shows the steps of men being monkeys to hunched over, and then, just evolution throughout mankind. And when I say monkeys. I'm not talking about racist sense. I'm just talking about where man came from. All right, so there's the whole evolution theory. Now, if you guys want to get into the Bible theory, Adam and Eve, and which I really don't want to touch, just my opinion. Anyway, so of course the Anakai couldn't stay on this planet. They had to get back to their own home planet, but they needed Earth. They needed Earth mainly for the gold resources so that they can repair their atmosphere. Now, it's being stated that we was genetically engineered by the Anakai to harvest this planet for its gold. Okay, now you can tie in a couple things. I wonder, why is gold so precious in this world? Why is it used as a currency? Maybe that's a way to keep all the gold at bay. Again, like I said, it's just a theory. So anyways, we was genetically made from the Anakai, okay? But we looked a little bit different. We kind of look like what we do now with different characteristics. Now it's being stated that one of the Anakai leaders that were in charge of watching over us fell in love with a Homo sapien, and they did their thing, and they had a super hybrid Anakai, and that's where we come from. That's where our DNA strand comes from. There's so much out there on this stuff, guys. I can't make this stuff up. You guys can do the research. Like I said, I'm not quoting, facts for facts. I'm just taking it. I'm trying to remember what I remembered. So if there's anything that's I'm wrong about, I do apologize. Again, I'm just trying to remember the facts that was brought to me. All right. So, anyways, we're made, genetically, super hybrids. Us now. All right. Now they're saying that the Samaritan these tablets that Zechariah Stitchins decoded, the clay Samaritan tablets, it depicts, Planet X. It depicts, I seen one. I seen one in one of his videos that was floating around YouTube. This man passed away, I believe, in 2010, so he's no longer with us, but his research and his work is still out there. So anyways, I seen one of these tablets that shows a person, sort of like Egyptian hieroglyphs. Alright, back then they depicted stuff through drawings. Anyways, one thing that does strike me pretty odd about this. Okay, now we know in Egyptian hieroglyphics, history, and it's up for debate even today that, aliens visited humans at some point. It's been speculated that how did the pyramids, how was the pyramids built? The craftsmanship. There's stuff nowadays with the modern tools and technology that we have. There's still work that we couldn't mimic, that they were able to do back then. So anyways, in my thought process, and this is just my opinion, I take the whole caveman theory, where we was all living in caves, taking mud on our hands and drawing pictures and stuff like that. And we know in history that, if that's the theory that you believe, fire and the wheel, that was the evolutionary point in human society. But now, I sit here and think, and a couple of my friends have heard me ask this question many times, and I still haven't found, point A to point B. Point A being the caveman, point B being, society. We have law, we have government, we have, civilizations. Okay, so, there's a whole gray period in history where we evolved from cavemen to where we live in tribes and we're building civilizations with, aqueducts, and we have code of law, and we have alphabet, and, we just have all these advances in technology I mean, even though it was very primitive back in the day, but there's still that gray area from cavemen to civilization. So, anyways, it's being speculated in this theory, and everyone that is really pushing this theory that we was visited, or Earth was visited by extraterrestrials. We was genetically coded. But anyways, let's get back to these tablets. Okay, this is what I find interesting. In these tablets, these things are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. All right, and one of these tablets, what struck me odd as I was looking at it, it did show the sun being in the center of our universe. Okay? Or in our solar system. I'm sorry, not our universe. Universe is huge. And it showed all the planets, formerly is what we know. It showed another 2 planets. Okay? Now, there's speculation that one of those planets got destroyed by Planet X, and that's what caused the Kepler belt, that surrounds Mars, Earth, and I believe Mercury next to the sun. And then we have the asteroid belt. It's being speculated that Planet X, there was another planet out there that got destroyed. And that's what created our Kepler belt. Which also, I believe, some will say that the Earth is part of that planetary system that got destroyed. Others will say the moon is part of that system. I don't believe Earth is, but I do believe the moon was. If this theory was correct, but I do believe in something out in the solar system destroyed another planet, and that's what caused our our Kepler belt, our asteroid belt. And I do believe that the moon is a fragment of that. I mean, it's a dead rock, dust. So anyways, I totally lost my train of thought. The tablets. The tablet shows Saturn and Jupiter having rings around it. Alright, now, forgive me, but we couldn't get our very first shots of Jupiter and Saturn until the late 1800s, technology, and, when we actually started building telescopes to look up into the heavens. We didn't know about it, it having rings or anything like that. So you're taking these tablets that were thousands and thousands and thousands of years old and basically showing that, aliens were here. And they're showing proof of knowledge of our solar system, planets out there, showing that the rings around this, so I mean, that did strike me pretty odd. I don't know. Now, do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do. I don't believe that we're the only living creatures out there. I don't believe that once you run out of our solar system, which it's been proven, after our solar system, there's a billion other ones out there. It's endless time, endless space. So I'm having a hard time believing that we are the only people or living things out there. All right. And in history, in different societies, different civilizations, it's been proven, within pictures, and look at, where did the knowledge, the knowledge evolution come from? Like I said, we went from discovering fire and the wheel to, building aqueducts and pyramids and having law and order and the whole thought of marriage, and even religion started coming out of that time. So, I kind of don't believe the Anunnaki theory. I'm sorry if that's naive. But I do believe in UFOs. I do believe that we was visited at one point in history, with all the facts that's being presented. I'm just having a hard time believing that we're the only living things out in this out in the universe. All right. So, anyways, now the whole story of Planet X in today's society started, I want to say, back in 1983. NASA discovered a planet that was way, way out there. Way out there. And a publishing newspaper, I believe it was the New York Times, published an article about it. And a day later, it was sealed up. Like, just gone. No, it was never discussed again. It was never, there was nothing on, record. So there's the conspiracy that now it became a government cover-up. Again, if the masses knew that this was going to happen, you would have chaos and anarchy. You would lose all sense of, think about this. Back in the 80s, okay, and we knew that this thing wasn't supposed to come for another 40, 50 years. If you let the public know then and there, you would lose everything. You wouldn't have government. Everyone would start governing themselves. It would basically turn into an anarchy. People would stop going to work. Like, what's the fucking point? We're all going to be dead in 50 years anyways. And especially it would get relatively worse as the years go down because, fear starts setting into people and we do some fucked up shit when we're afraid. So the theory is that, the government, the world government, every government around the nation knows about this and they cover it up. Okay, now that there's a couple things floating out there where governments are trying to tell people about it. And that's, like they tried to paint a picture of Russia. Russia, let's talk about Russia again. They're trying to paint a picture of Russia, knowing about it and thinks that his public needs to know about it, And United States saying, no, don't do that. Or not mainly the United States, but the Pope of Rome. That's why they're trying to paint a bad picture of Vladimir Putin. Trying to wage war on him because he knows secrets about the world that shouldn't be leaked. That's a theory. I mean, so anyways, this thing is, it was covered up, and then just throughout the years, it's slowly coming closer and closer to us. And, you can call it global warming, you can call it climate change, the Earth's cooling down. That's why we're having more tidal waves. That's why we're having more earthquakes. That's why we're having more volcano activity. Because the closer that this planet, which has a bigger magnet than Earth, it's causing a lot of pressure on the planet. And when you cause pressure on the planet, it just sits up there and it's doing this number. Okay, and that's why we're getting earthquakes. So they're trying to sit there and say that Planet X is getting closer. Now, also, back in, I honestly don't remember the time frame of this, but there was, in this theory, there's 3 Brazilian astronauts that, or not astronauts, I'm sorry, astrologers. People that look at the telescopes in the skies and the heavens looking for comets and shit like that. Now, it's being speculated that they found the planet, and they were leaking it out to the public. And then they suddenly disappeared. Trying to, everyone's basically saying it's a cover-up. They got killed by the government for trying to leak sensitive information out to the public on what they're trying to keep secret, blah, blah, blah. And even the case for me now, and this was a couple years ago, so if this thing is getting closer, and now that there's videos circulating everywhere on YouTube and social media and the news of it's coming up from behind the sun, on the southern part of the earth. So, let's say this is the sun and everything's on a fine straight line here. It's actually coming up from behind this way, and it's supposed to orbit around. So that's why we can't see it yet. But supposedly as it's getting closer, it's getting easier for everyone to see. If you was in Antarctica, you could see it clear as day. That's what they say. But yet, no one can go to Antarctica without special permission of the government because there's some stuff going on down there, which that's a whole other conspiracy theory. You guys can talk about Antarctica and what it's what it's there for, and blah, blah, blah. You know, you can look into that for yourselves. I'm not going to go into that one. But because of how it's orbiting up towards us, you know, you can only see it in the southern part of the country, of the world. All right, the very southern part of South America and in Antarctica. Now, if that was the case, all right, let me try to debunk this a little bit. You're telling us that the only time that you could see it is on the very southern parts of the world where there's no technology, like no internet, no... People down there are poor as shit. They don't get what we have. Guys, they can't just sit there and take a photo of it. Let alone, they're also saying that here in the United States, you can't see it with the naked eye. But if you hold your cell phone camera up and you take a picture of it, you'll see it clear as day. Okay, so let me ask you guys something. I was watching Jesse BP Earthwatch. Okay? And he has a whole video series on the whole Planet X Nibiru system theory. I urge you guys, please, to go check it out. It's very, very knowledgeable. All right, he's a good guy. He does his research, you know, and I find, you know, I feel 100% factual facts when I'm watching his videos. He said in a video, now, come on, guys, if you believe that you can see this thing through a camera, but not your naked eye, if it's that close and it's 40 times bigger than Earth, if you could see it only through a camera, but not to the naked eye, then you guys are in the world of deception that you guys are going to be blown away with what's to come. Okay, my theory, and I agree with that. My thing is, if the governments are killing people to hide this thing up, you know, all these astronomers, you know, government officials trying to leak it and, you know, whatnot. You know, if those people are getting killed, nowadays you guys are on YouTube talking about it, showing that you guys have proof 100% that it's real. You know, if that's the case, why aren't you guys showing up dead? You know, I mean, if the government really wants to keep this covered up in today's technology with social media, you know, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you know, Facebook, you know, we have the knowledge to hurry up and get out there. And, you know, you can argue with me with the fact that, oh, the internet's censoring. And I agree that. I do agree the internet's doing some fucked up shit with censorship. But come on, guys. Really? I seriously, like, I get on my YouTube every day because I've researched so much of it. It still shows up on my wall. You know, and really, if I sit there and I click on one because it was uploaded a week ago, it's the same video that I watched 5 months ago. Okay? It's just a different name, but it's the same fucking video. So, I'm really questioning the fact that if, you know, astronomers and government officials and everyone's ending up dying because of leaking information about this, everyone that's talking about it, everyone that says that they got video, everyone that says that they got pictures of it, why aren't you guys ending up in any kind of danger for leaking this stuff out? I mean, if it's real, you know, and causing so much of a division within the conspiracy theory process over it, why aren't you guys in danger? You know what I mean? I mean, you guys are leaking it out. You know, you guys know the facts. You guys know the information. You guys, you know, you guys been saying, oh, it was going to be here last year, and it's still not here. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, this is my opinion. This is what I think about it, guys. You don't have to agree with me. I would love to hear everyone's opinion on it. I really would. Alright. So, anyways, that's a little bit of the background on Planet X and the theory and some of my opinions on it. Guys, if you guys can see this with your cell phone camera, but not with the naked eye. I mean, in some of the pictures that I've seen that they're talking about taking it with your camera, you see the sun this big, and then down here, it's always down at the bottom left. Bam. There's a red orb right there. I get that. I believe that's a lens flare. I'm sorry. It's in the same place every time. You know, You can digitally enhance photos nowadays. You know, same reason. You know, I'm the type of person. A lot of people I know believe in ghosts. I get that. You know, I don't. I never had an experience with one. And then you got all these TV shows, Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. Dude, to me, that's, you know, that shit hits the editing booth before it even comes on TV. You know, it's all about this. It's all about that. But like I said, I'm just being naive because of based on my own opinion and my own facts, and it's never happened to me. Not saying it won't or it never will, and I'll never be a believer. But until something happens, then I'll believe it. Other than that, it's just my opinion. So if you guys can't see this thing with your naked eye, but you can only see it through a camera, or you can see it really good being in the southern part of the world, which there's no life other than marine life and polar life on Antarctica. There's no, I mean, the only humans that's down there is researchers. You know, people that want to do researches, and they have to set up a network. They have to take satellites down there so that they can connect to the internet and all that. And I'm not very sure on the geography of South America, but I'm pretty sure if you was down that close, you know, you're out in bumfucked Egypt, I really don't think you're going to have the technology to take pictures and upload it to the internet. That's just my opinion, guys. I'm sorry if you guys don't believe me. I'm not here to change opinions. It's just where I think about it. Alright? Alright, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's not a broadcast, just an opinion video. Alright, guys. I'll see you guys later.